So HarperCollins in India, famous publisher, they requested me during COVID times to produce a user's manual for life. And that's how the book came about. Based on that book is going to be this series. It is Applied Spirituality, which means the teachings of our Vedas, how do you use them in your everyday life? It's a 4-day series. We will cover 8 rules, golden rules. Today we start with the first one. Install good beliefs. Beliefs are so powerful aspects of our personality, we don't realize. What are beliefs? They are convictions of our intellect about the world around us, about ourselves, about things, events, etc. This world is so complex. It's like an equation with infinite variables. And to process it, our brain creates assumptions. These assumptions are mind, intellect made. They are beliefs. Somebody may believe everybody is against me. Somebody may believe I can never succeed. Somebody may believe fortune favors the brave. Whatever be the case, we all have millions of beliefs. And through the lens of these beliefs, we look at the world. Beliefs are so strong, they can impact your health and make you sick. Jem Gilbert, she was a national level tennis player in the United Kingdom. She was born in the 1930s. And as a 4-year-old, she accompanied her mother to the dental clinic for a tooth extraction. While the dentist was extracting Jem Gilbert's mother's tooth, she died. The mother. Now that convinced little Jem that dental clinics are very dangerous things. And she held on to that belief as she kept growing up. Many times she had pains in the mouth, but she would never visit the dentist. Finally, as a 40-year-old, people forced her to go. She did conceive and went to the dentist's chair and sat down. But when the doctor opened her mouth and put an instrument in, she passed away and died. Next day, the London Times took out a newspaper. Her belief of 40 years killed her. The belief was so strong in her intellect that her organs switched off because of it. This was a case of a wrong belief. So bad beliefs can injure us, good beliefs can uplift us like nothing else. Let us try and understand the science of beliefs today. Some people think only religious people have beliefs. You know, you are devotional, you go to the temple, you have blind faith. I am a man of science. I don't indulge in these wishy-washy beliefs. But that is incorrect. Scientists also have beliefs. They believe their senses. The senses could be deceiving. Take a look at the Newton's disc with 7 colors rotated. How does it look? And Swamiji, it's white. It's not white. That's an optical illusion. Your senses are cheating you. Alternatively, take a spoon and put it in the water. How does the spoon look? Crooked. Is it crooked? No. Your senses are cheating you. It's called an optical illusion. But scientists say, whatever I can perceive, I will believe that. So the atheist also has a belief. He says the world got created by itself. Even though he was not there when the world was made, but he says it got created by itself. And the theist says God made the world, even though he never saw God making the world. So all of us have beliefs. There can be nobody in this world who is without beliefs. Once in Los Angeles, I went to somebody's house who was a senior scientist in the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of Calcutta. That is cutting edge science. And in his house I saw a horseshoe. I asked him, why have you kept a horseshoe? He said, Swamiji, in the Western world they believe that horseshoes bring people good luck. I said, you are a man of science and you believe these kind of things. He said, I don't believe any such thing. But the person who gave it to me said, whether you believe or you don't believe, it will bring you good luck. So I said, that may as well keep it. So, now, look at the power of beliefs. These beliefs will determine your value system. If you believe that happiness is in power, you will seek power. If you believe that happiness is in wealth, you will seek wealth. So whatever your belief will create your value system. One Dr. David Phillips of UC San Diego, he did this study of 2 million people, and he discovered that for ladies, the chance of death dips in the 1 week before their birthday. That means the 1 week before the birthday, the chance of ladies dying is the least amongst the 52 weeks of the year. And then after the birthday, it increases a little bit. And for gents, he discovered it's the reverse. In the 1 week before the birthday, the chances of death increase. And in the 1 week after the birthday, they decrease. So the scientists said, what is this? What can explain this kind of phenomenon? And they determined it was the difference in the value systems. In general, ladies, they value relationships more. And they look on the birthday as an opportunity to nurture relationships and reinforce those contacts. So no matter how sick they may be, by willpower they pull on till the birthday. And after that they say, okay, now I can leave. And in the case of gents, it's the reverse. Gents value accomplishment more than relationships. They are more goal-oriented. No children in the hall, please. Any children, take them out. So, for gents, the birthday is like an evaluation milestone. How well did I do? And that is why they kind of dread the birthday. So, before the birthday, the chances of passing away are more. And naturally, after the birthday, they reduce. So, this difference in values is based on difference in beliefs. Happiness is in relationships. Happiness is in achieving goals. And they also discovered, these scientists, that for Chinese, the chance of death decreases in the 1 week before the Chinese New Year. And for Jews, it decreases in the 1 week before the Passover which they celebrate. In each case, the different values have been created by different belief systems. Plus, these beliefs, they determine the reality in which you live. They determine the reality in which we live. For example, if you believe the whole world is against me, then that will become your reality. If you believe the universe is helpful if we just try, that will become your reality. So the reality becomes determined by our beliefs. This experiment was done by Dr. Margaret Shee in New York. In the year 2008, when they saw that a black American is going to be ascending to the president's office, they said, what impact will it create on the performance of the black Americans? So they called them over to the test before the election of Mr. Obama. They took a general academic proficiency test. And as per the general perception, their performance was below the median. And then again they invited them after Mr. Obama had become president and gave the similar test. And this time the black Americans were performing so well that the perceived gap because of the ethnicity had been finished. And the New York Times published that the inspiring example he presented to them helped them develop the belief in themselves. And that resulted in a better performance. So your beliefs will determine the reality in which you live. They will also determine your potential in life. In Odisha, there are lots of elephants that roam around. And in southern Odisha is a place where they train elephants. So I was there and I happened to go by this place by the side of Mahendragiri Parvat. And the elephant trainer was with me. I saw these big patchy birds with a rope tied to the leg and the rope tied to a peg on the other side, the peg in the ground. And the elephant was standing because of it. I asked the Mahavat that an elephant can pull out a whole tree. It has got the strength in it. How come you have tied it with this little peg to the ground with a grass rope? He said, Swamiji, when the elephant was newborn, it was not strong. At that time we tied it. And even if it tried, it could not pull the peg out. So it developed the belief that if there is a rope like this around my leg, I can't do anything about it. Now it can do lots, but it continues to live with that belief. So, think about it. All of us also become conditioned to believe different things because of what we've heard, because of what we've read, because of the social media, etc. And that limits our potential. So, for example, this is the rich dad, poor dad theory. One boy was born to a poor dad. And he grew up in penury. And he developed the belief that this is how life is supposed to be. I can't do anything about it. So, he lived his whole life not trying to break out of the shackles of his poverty because his belief system told him that this is how life is. You're supposed to be poor. And the other boy was born to a rich dad. And he grew up in wealth and developed the belief that prosperity is possible. So even if adversity struck him, his belief told him, no, if you try hard enough, you can go beyond this. And he managed to break through and become prosperous again. Now it is not that everybody born to a rich dad will have this belief or to a poor dad will have this belief, but the correlation is there. So again, the point I am making is, your beliefs will determine your potential in life. Plus, your beliefs will also impact your health. You can actually believe your way to be sick. Once some people were traveling from Minnesota to Wisconsin. In the countryside, their car broke down. So they took shelter in a wayside inn and they were given rations. Now they wanted to check the sanctity of these rations, that they were not poisonous. A stray dog was roaming around. They fed some of the rations to the dog. The dog remained all right, did not get poisoned, so they said this is edible food. They all ate the food and went in. And 15 minutes later they got the news that the dog had died. Now they became really scared. Oh my God, what is it that we have eaten? And they all started falling sick. The ladies started throwing up, the gents started having griping pain, etc., etc. Until, so 9/11 was called up, the ambulance came. Finally the doctor said, if there are so many people sick, let me go and visit myself. He arrived there, he saw the patients, and he said, I want to see the dog. He was then informed on inquiry that the dog had fallen into the ditch. And he said, why? Because it was hit by a truck. So everybody said, oh, it was hit by a truck, it was not poisoned by the food. So these people who had fallen sick, they started getting cured. That is the power of beliefs. Your beliefs can make you sick, your beliefs can make you well. These are such an important aspect of our personality. But the surprising part is we don't even know where these beliefs come from. You are careful about the food you eat. You are careful about the clothes you wear. But the important, most part of our personality, we are just letting it happen to us. Is it possible for us to change our beliefs? Supposing I say that I will give you $1 million if in the next 5 minutes you can develop the belief that you can fly 5 feet in the air. Just believe that you can fly 5 feet in the air and you will get $1 million. Easy money? Will you be able to develop this belief? You say, Swamiji, how will I develop it? So how do the beliefs come to us then in the first place? Well, some beliefs, they come by limited experience. So for example, somebody failed in 2 interviews, went for 2 job interviews and failed. And then developed the belief, I can never pass an interview because I failed in 2 interviews. Now, is that a correct belief? Of course not. But this person has jumped to conclusion based on limited data. Somebody else got cheated by 2 realtors and developed the belief all realtors are cheats. Now, is that correct? Of course not. But he developed this belief. So some beliefs come to us by experience. limited. Some beliefs come to us by virtue of our environment. As they say in America, the son of a Republican is a Republican. The son of a Democrat is a Democrat. You grew up in a certain environment and you got those beliefs. Like your religious beliefs, whether you are a Hindu or Christian or Jew, whatever. Did you choose it? No, Swamiji, I was born in that family and I got these beliefs based on my environment. That is why environment is so important. Parents come to me, Swamiji, my 14-year-old child has gone astray. What to do, what to do? I say, just check the company he is keeping. If he has fallen into the wrong company of drug addicts, then he has developed the belief that this is the pathway to happiness. This is coming from the environment. Some beliefs come from hearsay. Your 5 friends told you, invest in property and you'll make a killing. You said, 5 of my friends are saying this must be the truth. It's possible that they were just lucky or there was some economic way, but you created a belief. But the Vedas say, now this is the kind of belief that is exploited. You know, Joseph Goebbels, the secretary of Hitler, he said, you tell a lie 100 times and it will become the truth. And he proved it. He duped the German people who were reputed to be very intelligent just by repeating a lie again and again and again. And in today's world of social media, this problem has enhanced. As the saying goes, that while the truth is still putting on its shoes, a lie can travel halfway around the world. So the Vedas say this is not the way to create beliefs. What is the way then? The proper way to create beliefs is based on good knowledge. When you access reliable knowledge, you will then create reliable beliefs. Like, for example, 700 years ago, the Western world believed that the earth is flat. And then, suddenly the belief changed. They started believing that the earth is round. And Christopher Columbus sailed to come to India and landed up in the United States. So how did the belief change suddenly? They got access to better knowledge. And the knowledge changed their beliefs. Likewise, the Vedas say, you go to reliable knowledge. And when it comes to beliefs regarding life and the universe, the most reliable knowledge is the sacred scriptures. Why are these so reliable? Because they are descending knowledge. They are descending from a higher source, from God Himself, from the realized sages. So that is why the Bhagavad Gita, for example, even after 5,000 years, 5 millennia, it is still so relevant to humankind. In fact, its relevance has only increased. Even today, books keep getting published. Bhagavad Gita for managers, leadership lessons from the Bhagavad Gita for everyday living. Now imagine, knowledge that was given 5 millennia ago is still applicable, because this is descending knowledge. So hence the Vedas say that you go to the perfect source of knowledge, which is the sacred scriptures and the sages. And based on that knowledge, you create your beliefs. Otherwise, you create wrong beliefs, then you are responsible. One lady at night, she used to once in a while get a very horrid dream. In the dream, a monster would appear, and the monster would start chasing her. And she would try her best to run from the monster, but she would be unable to do so. And finally, when the monster would be so close she could feel its teeth, she would wake up in fright. And the dream would repeat itself week after week after week. One night the dream just continued. The monster chased her down the valleys and up the mountains and around the lake, and she was running for her life. It was a dream. And finally she reached a cliff's edge. There was now nowhere to run. The monster was catching up. So she turned around to the monster and said, "What are you going to do to me now?" The monster said, "Lady, you decide. It's your dream. You decide." So we have to create the good beliefs. So we have understood now, good beliefs should be based on knowledge. So how do you convert knowledge into beliefs? Let's understand the three-step formula. The first is Shravanam, hearing. Right now you are hearing. This is considered step one. Or you could do Pathanam, reading. And not just hearing once, because what you hear you will forget. So you hear again and again and again, and allow the knowledge to fill up in your intellect. But this is the first step of creating beliefs. If you don't hear, then how will you get good beliefs? The second step is Mananam. What you have heard, you keep it with yourself. That means let the knowledge be in your conscious awareness. Like for example, we all know that anger is a bad thing. Who doesn't know? But when the attack of Maya comes, we forget. We make the mistake. Later on we regret. Why did I shout at this person? He's not that bad. What happened to me? How did I become such a monster? What happened was that anger is a bad thing. This knowledge slipped out and the mistake was made. So knowledge will be useful when it stays with us. Tattva vismaranat bhekivat. The scriptures say the moment the human being forgets knowledge, the human being falls to the level of an animal. Our humaneness is in keeping the knowledge in our conscious awareness. This is called Vedic. This is right, this is wrong, as regards behavior. So for that, you need to contemplate upon the knowledge again and again and again. Then it will stick. Otherwise it disappears. Like some people say, "Swamiji, I heard you last year." Yeah, really? So tell me what I spoke. No, that I don't know, but I heard you last year. So I don't think you heard me last year. Because you did not contemplate on what you heard. That contemplation is called Mananam. It is step number 2 in this belief creation. Like the cows graze the grass for 2 hours and then they sit down and they chew it for 6 hours. They take it out of one stomach, put it in the next, take it out of that stomach, put it in the next. Likewise, you hear the lecture for 1.5 hours and then contemplate over it for 10 hours and make the knowledge yours. This is called mananam. So the step 1 was shravanam, step 2 mananam. Now step 3, final step. This is nididhyasanam. This means with your intellect decide, this is it. Moment the intellect decides, the belief is made. The Vedas have said a very powerful thing. Astitevopalabdhasya tattvabhava prasivati. They say the moment you believe in the definition of God, you will become God realized. There's nothing more to it. The definition we all know. Everybody who comes to the temple knows God is all powerful, He is the creator, we are His little parts, He is the ocean of bliss. We all know this, but we don't believe it. See, the difference between knowledge and belief is so stark that the moment we can actually believe, the Vedas say you will become God realized. So let us use knowledge, access it, and transform it into beliefs that will bestow good health, well-being, positivity, optimism, hope, and help us manifest our best potential in life. This is golden rule number 1. Make sense? Great. Now we'll go to golden rule number 2. Harness the power of self-talk. How you talk to yourself. Some of you in your corporation may have attended the personal development workshops that corporations organize. There they will tell you the importance of interpersonal communication. But I am telling you today the importance of intrapersonal communication. How you speak to yourself. We don't realize it, but we are always speaking to ourselves. You are listening to Swamiji's lecture and talk is going, yeah, that point is so right, yeah, I've got this wrong belief, etc., etc. Why is he saying, stretching this point so long? So, this self-talk goes on. I'm a good for nothing, nobody likes me. Thinks, God's grace is there always upon me, I am so blessed. Now this self-talk, if it is positive, it can work to our advantage like nothing else. But if the self-talk is negative, it will hurt us more than anything else. One IT professional in Minnesota, he always dreamt of being a CTO. That was his dream job. And through LinkedIn, some company reached him and offered him the CTO job for a company in Germany. He said, yippee, I've got my job that I always wanted. But then he started doing self-talk. Am I really competent enough for it? I don't think I have the skill set. I have never done such a big thing in my life. I don't know if I'll succeed. And if I don't succeed, I'll not get the job that I had already. And what if the company fails? Now his self-talk demoralized him so much that after 15 days he sent in his refusal. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. That is the power of self-talk. When I give lectures in Indian colleges, they often keep inviting me. And then at the end of the lecture is a Q&A session. And one question comes up every time over the last few years. Swamiji, so many motivational speakers are coming nowadays to our colleges. You know, in India, this is the latest fad. Sometimes it seems to me that everybody has become a motivational speaker. So, the students say that Swamiji, the motivational speakers, they come and they inspire us. You can do it, just think it's possible. When you go down the hall, conquer. So we say, yes, I can do it. But after 6 hours, the inspiration is not so much. And after 24 hours, we are back to normal. Where does the inspiration go? And why does it go? I said, look, that motivational speaker who came, he did not say a bad thing. It's good to be inspired. And whatever knowledge, half-baked, whatever he had, he was offering it. The problem was not in the knowledge he or she gave. The problem was after receiving the knowledge, how you spoke to yourself. The speaker inspired you. And after that, you kept telling yourself, you know, this is for others, this is not for me, and I'm good for nothing, I'm good for nothing. So you demotivated your own self by your self-talk. Now that self-talk can go to extremes. I've heard the case of one lady, after purchasing groceries, she got out from the store and went and sat down in her car, putting the groceries in the back seat. And when she sat on the driver's seat, she heard an explosion from behind. Ha! Suddenly something came and hit her on the back of the head. She thought that she had received a bullet, and she put her hand behind like this and felt that she could feel her brains. So she had to hold the hand there or the brains would pop out. And she kept sitting there for 1 hour that my brain should not pop out. After 1 hour, somebody outside thought that there's something wrong here. He phoned 911. The police came. Through the horn, they said, lady, open your door. She said, I can't. If I move my hand, my brains will pop out. So with the screwdriver, they yanked open the door and then discovered that in her grocery basket, there was a pressurized cookies packet of Pillsbury, and that had exploded and the dough had hit her on the head. But she had convinced herself that I have been hit by a bullet and my brains are coming out. This is the power of self-talk. Let us understand how this self-talk works. See, you people may have heard from me that the mind is such an important thing. This mind is so powerful, it can make heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. This mind of ours, which makes us unhappy or happy, whatever the case may be, it has got two parts to it. One is the conscious mind, and the other is the subconscious mind. Conscious mind, we are all aware of. At this moment I am feeling happy, at this moment I am feeling hungry, whatever. This is the conscious mind. The subconscious mind, we are not aware of, but it is there. It's our memory bank of all our experiences. They are embedded in the subconscious. Imagine a 3-year-old girl, 4-year-old girl walked into the elevator, and by chance the lights went off. For the next 15 minutes she panicked. She cried, but nobody was responding. She could see nothing. It was the most frightful experience of her 4-year life. It was a conscious experience. Her conscious mind actually perceived every bit of it. But then when the lights came, the elevator moved back to its place and she walked to her freedom. As the time went by, the weeks, months, she forgot about what had happened. But it is there still in her subconscious. So the moment she enters an enclosed space, she breaks into a panic. This is called claustrophobia. Phobia is an irrational fear that is apparently inexplicable. Why? One gentleman was telling me, Swamiji, I have needed my MRI, but the moment, they take you into the MRI machine, moment they would take me, I would break into a sweat. Finally, they had to make me unconscious. So somebody has got fear of water, somebody has got fear of cockroach, lizard, spider, etc., etc. These are all coming from our subconscious. This subconscious is not of one lifetime. The Hindu philosophy extends to past lives. That is why the Vedas say, look at a little child, infant child. Without reason it is becoming scared. Without reason it is becoming happy. Without reason it is becoming fearful. Why is all this happening? So the Nyaya Darshan says, the past life memories have still not been completely erased. At the time of death, the soul departs and the mind goes along with the soul. But death is so painful, it erases memories. And then birth is even more painful, next birth. That erases even more, but some are remaining. Hence that infant child is without reason experiencing those emotions. And that is why even as a 5-6-year-old you get this, oh, I have seen this before. Oh, where did I see this? The French have got a term for it called déjà vu. Déjà vu. So this is all coming from the subconscious. See, let me tell you an experience of your subconscious. How many of you can relate to it? You had to catch an early morning flight and you needed to get up at 4:30. So you set the alarm for 4:30 and went to sleep. But 2 minutes before 4:30, you woke up. Did it happen? Why does this happen? Your subconscious wakes you up. Your body has got its own clock. That is why the jet lag happens, right? That's why you feel hungry at the right time, you fall to sleep at the right time. So your subconscious woke you up, come on. Now this subconscious, we are programming it by our conscious inputs. We don't realize, but consciously we are telling ourselves. And each time we are telling ourselves, the subconscious is getting programmed by it. Now, if you keep telling yourself that life is good and there is hope and God is great, your subconscious will be programmed with positivity. But so many people, they tell themselves negative things. And the subconscious then becomes a bundle of negativity. Now if you keep telling yourself, I cannot succeed, and next time a challenge arises, the conscious mind tells the subconscious, tell me 5 reasons why I can't succeed. The subconscious says, yes boss, remember you failed there, you failed there, you failed there, you can never succeed. If this is a case of our own subconscious becoming our worst enemy. The Bhagavad Gita says, likewise, you can also make it your best friend. Take a look at Nelson Mandela, he in recent times has been a very inspiring personality. You know, when there was apartheid being practiced in South Africa, he was the leader of the civil rights movement and he was jailed. And he was in jail for 27 years at a stretch. There he was subjected to the severest of inhuman atrocities. Being a respectable man, he was made to work in a lime quarry where all the light blinded him. Once he recalls that the guard asked him to dig a grave, and having dug it, the guard then told him to go and lie down. He thought this will be the end of me. But the guard then came and urinated on him just to break his spirit. But despite all that, Nelson Mandela remained positive. And finally, because of international pressure, when in 1993, the apartheid government was dissolved, the country was on the brink of a civil war. And Nelson Mandela had the task. Because of his positivity, he held the country together. He encouraged people not to harbor bitterness or resentment. He was interviewed by American television. How did you bear with the hardships? Imagine, for no reason, he is being subjected to so much of torment. So the interviewer asked, how did you bear with these hardships? And Nelson Mandela's answer is a classic case of positive thinking. He said, I was not bearing hardships. I was purifying and preparing myself. In those negative situations, he was seeing an opportunity to cleanse his heart and prepare for the role that the universe had in store for him. This is a case of positive self-talk. Take inspiration from Brian Acton, the man who developed WhatsApp. I think most Indians use WhatsApp. So Brian Acton, he was an employee at Yahoo and he applied for a job to Twitter. When he got rejected in the interview, he tweeted, I was rejected by Twitter. Nevertheless, their office was too far away. Positive. He then applied to Facebook. And they also rejected him. And he again tweeted, I got rejected, but I met some really nice people today. Look at the positivity. So he continued working at Yahoo, and as a side hustle, he was developing WhatsApp. Until it grew so big, the same Facebook that had rejected his job application purchased WhatsApp from him for $18 billion, considered at that time the biggest purchase. Again, the self-talk is such an important thing. So remember, you have the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the gateway to the subconscious. The subconscious will not use logic. It will just obey commands. Just as on a ship, you have got the captain on board and the mariners below in the engine room. The mariners will do as ordered. The captain has to use his head. Step on the gas. Aye, aye, captain. Now, if the captain's orders are wrong, they say, we are just following instructions. Likewise, the conscious mind is doing the thinking. The subconscious acts 40,000 times faster than the conscious. Like for example, when you are at a zebra crossing about to cross the road, you have seen the signal white, it says walk, and you've taken one step, two steps, when you see a speeding car coming, and your conscious mind starts analyzing, is this guy going to stop? And then you think he's possibly not going to stop, there's something wrong out here, I need to save myself. All this analysis was done by your conscious mind. After that, you did no further thinking. The subconscious stepped in. And you leapt behind. You did not have to think, should I put the left foot back first or the right foot back first, and how much should I do it? The subconscious just took over. Programmed by its past habits, it just got into action. So this subconscious of ours is at our beck and command. It is for us to decide how we wish to program it. The final message is from this IT engineer who had just undergone a painful divorce. 3 months ago, he had got separated from his wife, and he was full of bitterness towards his ex. And to top it all, it was such a strenuous job, as IT jobs are usually. And he was working on a federal project which was top security. So every time he left his workstation for 5 minutes, coming back he had to log in by using the password. And the requirements were every month you must change the password. And the new password must not be one that you used earlier on, but it must have at least one uppercase, at least one lowercase, at least one alphanumeral, at least one numeral. Now how to remember all these things? And on one side is the bitterness about his ex, and the other side is new passwords. So finally, it was time to change the password again. He said, he wrote the letter for, and then with a capital G, give, and then an at, and her, forgive her. So now 50 times a day, when he would go for a drink of water, he would come back, forgive her. In the morning he logs in, first thing he does is forgive her. So 50 times a day he is forcing himself to say to his subconscious, forgive her. As the days went by, his bitterness started reducing. And then he said, wow, this is so nice. By the end of the month, he was free of his resentment. He said, oh my God, this is such a powerful way. He wanted to save for a house, but he had never been saving. So for the next month, he put the password save and then again for at the house. So save for the house, save for the house, save for the house. Slowly, slowly he started actually saving. And by the end of the month he had the saving habit and he was also doing some saving. But this is a case of self-talk. You hear commercials, 1 minute commercial on why you should buy this soap, etc. You should make a commercial about yourself to tell yourself. So when you see yourself in the morning in the mirror, what are you going to tell yourself? Write down a few positive affirmations and speak them out in the bathroom, nobody will hear. Or speak it out in private, or just say it loudly in your mind. But say it to yourself again and again and again. And I tell you, in a little while, you will start becoming a different person. So you will then realize the power of positivity, of optimism and hope. This ability is available to all of us. The saints tell us chant the names of God with every breath. That's just another way of making your subconscious full of devotion. Whatever be the case, golden rule number 2, harness the power of self-talk. Shri Radha Krishna Bhagwan ki